You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here to break down some really significant moves in AI that have happened just recently. It feels like the ground is constantly shifting, doesn't it? The pace is just incredible. And honestly, some of the turns are things you wouldn't expect. Today, we'll look at, new models, some major business plays, and the tech underneath it all. Try and make sense of it for you. So first up, something pretty surprising, actually. OpenAI. They brought back GPT-4o as an option in ChatGPT.
Yeah, that really jumped out. Users were genuinely complaining after the switch to GPT-5, saying they missed GPT-4o.
It missed its personality, its
Yeah.
flexibility. It seems it wasn't just about raw benchmark scores for them.
Exactly. And that feedback, well, it seems to be shaping OpenAI's whole strategy for GPT-5 now. It looks like GPT-5 isn't really aimed at being this, huge leap in raw intelligence for the power users.
Right, more for the common user.
Precisely. The 98% who are on the free tier, they're focusing on usability, making it faster, cheaper to run.
Yeah.
That seems to be the priority.
Addressing the bottlenecks for most people, not just chasing the absolute peak performance. It's a different way of thinking about their main product.
It really is.
And speaking of other models, we're hearing Grok's V7 just finished pre-training internally.
That's the buzz. Supposedly natively multimodal, so handling audio, video directly.
And generating and playing games. Adjusting code on the fly for how it looks, how it plays. That's quite something.
A totally different direction compared to just refining text generation, yeah.
Okay, so beyond the models themselves, the business side is really heating up, particularly pricing.
Oh, definitely.
OpenAI dropped GPT-5 pricing pretty dramatically, didn't they? Like 1.25 per million input tokens, $10 for output.
Yeah, that's aggressive. Seriously undercuts competitors. It signals a real price war starting.
And that must put huge pressure on companies like Anthropic.
Immense pressure. Especially since, a huge chunk of their revenue reportedly comes from just two big clients, Cursor and GitHub Copilot. When your main competitor slashes prices like that, it really weakens your premium position, makes those contract talks very tricky.
It could reshape the whole vendor landscape, couldn't it?
Absolutely. Enterprise buyers will be looking very closely at those numbers.
It kind of makes you ask, what's the real product sometimes? We saw that crazy story with Windsurf.
Oh, right. $0 to $82 million ARR in, 8 months? Just phenomenal growth.
But then they sold for almost nothing, less than a 2x multiple. It's wild.
And the reason apparently was that the company was basically just an accidentally subsidized training program.
Meaning the most valuable thing they produced wasn't the software.
But the engineers who got really good at building AI models while working there, it shows how value can be really unexpected in this market. Kind of a cautionary tale.
Definitely a different way to think about value creation, or lack thereof. So, okay, underlying all these user shifts and market fights is the tech itself. And OpenAI is using something new. MXFP4 quantization.
Yeah, that's a fascinating technical bit. Quantization is basically about making the data models you smaller, more efficient. And this MXFP4 seems particularly good at it. They're saying it cuts inference costs, the cost of actually running the model, by 75%.
75%? That's huge. So you can run these massive models like 120 billion parameters?
On GPUs with much less memory. Fitting it onto an 80 GB VRAM card, which was unthinkable before for a model that size without serious performance hits.
So more efficiency, wider accessibility for powerful models.
Right. But, and this is a really crucial but, even with these advances, these models feeling like magic sometimes, we have to remember, large language models are not world models. They don't actually understand the world in a fundamental way.
Meaning they can't really grasp cause and effect or know for sure what's fact versus just, plausible sounding text.
Exactly. They can't reliably handle huge code bases on their own. They don't know what they don't know, and they still make stuff up. Hallucinations are still a thing.
So AGI, artificial general intelligence.
Still seems pretty far off, despite the hype. These are fundamental limits we're hitting up against.
Though researchers are pushing other boundaries, like conversation length, using things like attention sinks.
Yeah, that's clever stuff. Fixing the initial important tokens in place while letting the rest slide allows them to handle millions of tokens in context stably. A big jump from thousands.
Okay, so bringing it back to the real world. All this tech, all this competition, it's having a massive impact, right? Especially on careers.
Definitely. We're seeing it hit the coding bootcamp industry hard.
Yeah, I saw some figures, placement rates dropping from 83% down to 37% at some places. That's devastating.
And hiring for new grads in programming is down 50% from pre-pandemic levels,
Mhm.
AI is automating a lot of those entry-level tasks.
Wow. So what's the outlook? Are we all just going to become less capable?
Well, I tend to think, calculators didn't make students dumb. They changed how they worked. LLMs probably won't turn us into mental degenerates either. Society, young people especially, they adapt. But there will be a transition period, absolutely. A potentially painful one for some sectors.
So we've covered a lot today. User feedback changing model design, fierce price wars, incredible tech efficiency gains, but also fundamental limitations and real-world job impacts. It's
Like,
a lot happening all at once.
it really is. And it leaves you with a pretty big question, doesn't it? If even our best AI models today aren't true world models and have these basic limitations, how should that change how we build with them? How much do we rely on them? What does it really mean to play to AI's strengths while being super aware of what it can't do?
Spoken Tech for your ears.